We are on the brink of a creative explosion. A creative explosion. Similar to like the Harlem Renaissance, but you got to think on a grander scale. But the reason why our generation is different and why this is going to be a greater creative explosion is because our creativity has been suppressed for so long.
Today I have a very special guest with me. Family, a long time creative artist, visionary, Renaissance man.
Been doing this since we've been in preschool, man.
And this path that we've been on just been legendary as hell. Like to see how everything full circles into where we at right now.
Yep. Everything always comes back full circle, whether you believe it or not. Like, and I think a lot of people they don't understand that. When we talk about things coming full circle, we have to really think about truly the thought that we usually have of what we desire. Like a lot of people, we don't really think about how the things that we desire in the past come to fruition in the future, but we don't acknowledge it because it's not what we want. Um, and the reason why I say that is because as humans, we're constantly evolving, not just physically, but also mentally and in thought, or I guess the same thing, mentally and in thought. And because of that, the things that we have sought in the past, truly, we never become happy with. And the reason why I say this is because I like to tie it back into our current situation, right? Our current situation that we're currently going through is that it is a lack of truthfulness. It's a lack of people realizing that we have to go back to living in the present. We're so caught on the future of society, or we get caught on our past, the things and the choices that we have made. But what we don't understand is like we succumb ourselves to an endless negative loop. But when we understand that living in the present, because time is subjective, in the present is the only moment that you need to live in, you will understand that everything that you desire in the future will come to fruition because you're acting in that moment. And I think that's currently the trajectory that we're going in as humans, is that we're starting to understand that we're so worried about the future of society, the corruption, the chaos, the utopia, the dystopia, that ultimately we just said, fuck it, we just want to live. But in doing so, in living, we are actively creating the utopia that we want. It's like the conversation we had the other day. You take it back to all these people that's now guarded. Everybody was so worried about the future of food. We're eating bioengineered meat, fake chicken, fake beef. And they were worried about the future. But ultimately, when they started just living in the present, they started just growing their own food. They started gardening. They started really digesting what it means to be healthy. And it's like the yin and the yang, or the pendulum. Because of the fact that we realized that we were eating bullshit, it made people acknowledge the fact that they have to pay attention to what they eat. Not everybody, but it's a slow rise. And ultimately, what people are finding out when they're paying attention to what they eat, that there is nothing that is not bioengineered. So what do people do? They go back to gardening, which that is a step in the current utopia, in the current evolution of mankind. Hmm.
Yeah, I like how you said that because you think about the evolution, right? Like back to your point about people so focused on the future. It's like we're so worried about what the future might look like that we forget that the present moment dictates what that will look like as well. Like there's a theory that says the present can alter the past and the future. So it's like what you're saying, people are starting to garden and take up these things, going back to the basics. That's basically altering what the future is going to look like. Even though people are complaining, they don't understand that by them gardening or planting that seed, that's actually going to help shape the future that we want instead of the
Exactly.
one that we don't want.
Exactly. That's it. That's literally it. And the thing is that a lot of people don't understand is it starts in the subconscious mind. As we understand currently, we are in the 5D realm. And a lot of things that when you manifest or you want, because not everybody is spiritual, but not everybody is religious. So when you think about the thing that you desire and you want, subconsciously, when you continue to think about that thing, whether it be freedom, whether it be a utopia, whether it just be getting a new job, you subconsciously will start to act in that way. You will subconsciously start to think about jobs, think about freedom more and more and more until you get to the point that now your body is acting on its own. You may start to notice things.
All right.
You may start to perceive things differently. If you're looking for freedom, you may start to look for escape routes. Subconsciously, your eyes are looking for it.
That's true.
Hmm.
Joseph Murphy got his book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I had to read it a couple times, bro, because it talks about how really the subconscious, even though it's the hidden layer, it dictates everything we do and all of our beliefs and everything. Like, yeah, let's say somebody wants something, right? They want like a life change or they want something different.
Yep,
That thought is being imprinted onto the subconscious mind. But
exactly.
for the subconscious mind to actually alter what your physical looks like, it has to have like 100% belief in the thing that you want.
Hmm.
Because when the subconscious predicts itself, it basically puts us in like almost like a damn loop or a cycle
Yeah.
of wanting something and not being able to get it.
Hmm.
So, and you don't even have to be a spiritual person to tap into the power of your subconscious mind, because it's really just the thoughts and the feelings and stuff like that. Like when you're out and about and you get a certain feeling, that's the subconscious mind rendering information that your body's processing. It's just
Yeah.
telling you fight or flight, or hey, move here, or do this, or don't go down there, or don't talk to this person and stuff like that. That's just subconscious. So it's like we can find a way to really tap into that and reprogram and rewrite it in our best favor, then we could probably really alter everything going on around us.
Yeah. That's true. But the crazy part about it is you have already tapped into it. Because what a lot of people don't understand is the reason why we have to continue down this constant loop that mankind is going or has been on
Talk a little
is,
louder again.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The reason, well, a lot of people don't understand that we have already been doing that. We have already tapped into it.
Okay.
Like, and the reason why I say this is that as though mankind has been through this constant loop, right? A lot of people don't understand is the reason why things happen subconsciously is because you're not aware of the subconscious. So, like, for example, what you just said is how can we tap into that? Now you're becoming aware of the situation, which the next step is now you're going to think of ways to combat that situation and then act on it.
Right.
So what a lot of people don't understand is that we are already aware of everything that's going on. The problem was we wasn't aware before. We were just acting subconsciously, doing like due to emotions. Have you ever been so riled up that you just either cried, got mad, or just yelled at somebody for whatever the fuck reason?
Mm,
But the more and more that you grow up or become aware, the more and more that you're able to recognize that cycle, that loop, and emotionally regulate yourself before you spiral.
mm.
And that's because you have become aware to your emotions. The problem was we just weren't aware to our thoughts, our subconscious mind. But now we are, little by little. And then truly, what people don't understand is that's the evolution of 5D. That's it.
So the evolution of 5D is basically the increasing power of awareness.
Yes, that's
So
it.
the more people that become aware, the more changes and things that we can make. But
Yep.
what's the downfall of awareness that doesn't become action? Or like if people become aware but they don't change anything or they don't contribute, like is there any like is anything wrong with that, or that's necessarily a positive thing too, in a sense? Like is awareness truly the key, or is awareness the foundation to the next step that we have to take?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So truthfully speaking, it's like I kind of see it like how Buddha said. It's not really a good and bad. Like I think it just is. If somebody is aware and they still decide to not do anything with that newfound awareness, is it that they're acting negatively, or are they just aware to the fact that they just don't want to do anything?
That's right.
And that's like the like and that's why I think like a part of evolution is the broadening of our perspectives. Like one of the things that I think that we have a problem that we have had a problem with, is we have thought everything is just A, B, C, D, right? But we forget about the other letters of the alphabet. We
Right.
forget that, like, realistically, the possibilities in life is endless. And how it starts is like the conversation that we had the other day was it starts with sharing ideas, but being open to the ideas that are being shared.
Mm,
The problem is that we have been recycling the same ideas just in different fonts.
mm,
So nothing has changed. It's just looked like it changed, but realistically it hasn't changed. Great example. Look at the way that people dress in early 2000s, then look at Y2K. Like similar fashions, different fonts. But if it's like what we said, if you look at solar punk, for example, that would mean that a person who is technology or technologically knowledgeable, that person will have to talk to somebody who understands nature on like a deep intellectual level, right?
right.
But by them sharing those ideas, that's how you get to the point of solar punk. The same way how if you share ideas of technology only and recycle it, personally, this is my opinion, that you're going to just spiral down into a cyberpunk technocratic world. And I think like that's realistically the first step that we have already taken as humankind, as like a species, is that we have already became aware. And that's the most interesting and best part is you can say it's due to a number of things.
Right.
But one of the things I find so interesting is trauma. Enough trauma will cause somebody to like sub their mind to subconsciously protect itself. You will find a way to protect yourself, whether it be good or bad. You are, if you are like having trauma, you're going to protect yourself. Look at people with multiple personality disorders, whether you believe it or not. Look at it. If a child, excuse my language, if a child is abused enough, they will develop in their subconscious mind a way to protect themselves. A lot of
Right.
times, if you see that, is a second personality that takes the abuse and the child doesn't remember it at all. He doesn't remember being abused. So your subconscious mind has thought of a way to protect yourself. That's like truly how beautiful our minds are, but we have never thought about it like that. So now that we're in this technocratic world, when we're seeing and it's on a global scale, right? Everything like a lot of things happened in the past wasn't as global as the shit that we're facing now, at least
Mm,
in America. And then even if no, like no, this is like extremely global actually when you think about it because it's all over the world.
right.
Leaders are being accused of files, is governments are being overthrown, revolutions, and then you go to the one place, or at least for us, we thought we were this great world power, right? And then we realize that we're not. We realize that like it's a wealth gap and everything is happening. So, as humans, subconsciously, due to the trauma, we're going to think of a way to protect ourselves.
So, if ideas are the fuel to the evolution, what's the importance of making sure that these ideas get out there in the world that's fighting us with intellectual warfare?
Well, this is the funny part. So we think about that, right? But it's already out there. We're too tech. We're too advanced now, bro. It's like social media is at a point where like it's only two ways you can really control it. You can shut the bitch off, or you keep trying to control the algorithm. But regardless, it's too many voices. It's too many ideas that's being shared too fast. And you cannot silence millions and millions and millions and millions of people at the same time and not have consequences for it. So the ideas are going to get out there regardless. You can go on Pinterest and you can just be scrolling, you'll see something that'll give you an idea. And we also got to remember that ideas come in many shapes and forms. But one of the best ways that you get an idea that us as humans have forgot is sitting and just observing and enjoying life. We have decided that the only way to get ideas is through books and reading. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right. But if that is the only way that you decide to get ideas, at that point, you're never thinking on your own.
Mhm.
So are these really your ideas?
Right.
Is that other people have to think about? If you're only studying books and you're not allowing yourself to think and observe life so you can figure out how to combat it, then truthfully speaking, you're not bringing no life altering ideas.
Right, because a book is just the compilation of somebody else's ideas that they probably got in another book.
Mhm.
Like some people have fresh ideas and philosophy that they put into a book, but when you read a lot of books, you notice that they say the same things in a sense, which
Yeah.
is good because nothing new is necessarily under the sun. Like all the information that will be is already out there. It just hasn't been tapped into.
Mhm.
But I think like what you're saying is the importance of being able to sit and grab an idea straight from the cosmos itself, like it's art in that,
Yeah.
instead of just getting it from a book where the idea kind of already in front of you. Whereas if you just sitting down and you taking a walk, you're kind of being forced to perceive things through your own lens and then use that to develop a perspective of whatever idea you about to bring.
Exactly. And then you really want to take it one step further. Really, you want to take it one step further. Who's to say that this nigga idea is gonna work for me?
Right.
Who's to say the what for the future I want for myself or humanity that this nigga's idea is gonna work for me?
Right.
Okay, let's take it one step further. One of the greats. Who's to say that his ideas is going to work for me? Because truthfully speaking, you really look at books, these are their individual ideas that work for their individual success. And if it's not, it's really just a book that they use and study from other people on how they got their individual success.
Right.
But it goes back to the recycling aspect. If that is all that we're recycling, it's everybody else's means of success,
Mhm.
then we're not bringing no new types of success. No, like we're not bringing nothing new, and that is the ultimate problem that us as humanity has became aware of is that we're in a stagnated period of nothing new, nothing at all, no new ideas, no new. You can look at the government, no new ways of how to better society. We are recycling. Like think about it, house has been the same for a while. We're in 2026. So we have to go back to that. What up? Ugly ass dog.
Nah, you touched on something though.
Hmm.
I think that was like what you said was key. You know what I'm saying? And it's important to stay focused even when distractions come. Because
Hmm.
when you have ideas, sometimes a distraction will try to take that idea from you.
Exactly.
So one thing I like about the ancient days is especially like where like of course the philosophy fathers and stuff like that, they had what we call Plato's Academy and these different schools where different philosophers would gather under one roof. And a lot of them had like same core principles in a sense, but everybody brought their own, I guess I would say their own perspective into elevating the ideas that's already is.
Yeah.
So like the same way, like you just said, we have certain houses. A lot of houses being made nowadays, like you said, are all the same.
Hmm.
So it's like, how can somebody take the architecture of a house to a new or a more sustainable type infrastructure? You're
Yeah.
not having those type of ideas because everybody's just quick to build whatever they can as cheap as they can and just sell it. You know, and that's another thing that's important too. Like I think a lot of ideas are or not a lot of ideas, but a lot of ideas that people push is just to capitalize off it and not to like really push the evolution of where like what we're living in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you also, if you really want to find the truthful reason why, it's because everybody's in the fucking rat race.
Mm,
Is it? Whether you have different objectives while you're in this rat race, whether you want to be financially stable or super popular or rich, ever or free, you
That's a
still
rat
have to
race.
race against everybody else to get that.
Even freedom a rat race.
Yes,
That's
but
crazy.
but this is the crazy part that a lot of people don't understand is that's what they want us to think.
Mm,
They want us to think this is a rat race. They want us to think that really it's only these few little bit of people that can get success,
mm,
that can get financial freedom, right?
mm.
And the problem is, for them at least, is that now people are starting to become aware or realize that it doesn't have to be a rat race no more. I can be financially stable, and you can go be free and live in the woods, and we both can get what we want. We ain't got to race. We ain't got to race for each other.
Right.
I can be rich, and you can be popular, and we ain't got to race against each other for it. But if we unify, we work with each other to get our goals. Now we're instead of us stepping on each other, we're helping each other up.
That's what I like about Nipsey Hussle. Like he incorporated the marathon ideology, where it's like, yo, it's not a race, it's not a sprint. Like we all could work together to pursue this marathon. Like everybody have a different type of marathon that they running,
Yeah,
and it's not a race because a race ends quick. Even if it is a rat race, the faster you get out of it, like we don't know what's at the end of that. Like you might just end up being in another race
true.
because you try to exit the game too quick. Now you find yourself in a whole nother game, or you ran the race, but you figured out that there was a larger race to run.
Yeah,
So with the marathon, it's like a almost eternal endeavor that is like you're reaching milestones, you're reaching goals, but the journey continues. Because even after you lead a race, you still like you still have more work to do or more growth to achieve
yeah.
and more things to accomplish.
Yeah. I mean, like, and realistically, it goes back. I truly believe nobody, like everybody, like with the money system, right? That's one of the reasons why it's the rat race, and we have to look at that truthfully. And I see it a lot. I see it a lot. I see it a lot with a lot of people who are not understanding that money holds energy, whether
Mhm.
you believe it or not. It holds energy. It's times where you feel like the man when you just got paid, and then 4 or 5 days later, you're thinking about how to budget. Or if you want to look at it with people, celebrities, why are they never satisfied with the amount of money they get? LeBron is a great example. This nigga is 41 and he won't take a pay cut. So truthfully, money does come like the saying money is the root of all evil. It really is because if I start touching a lot of fucking money, it's gonna rewire my brain.
I
Because
wouldn't even say money is the root of all evil, but the love for it.
hmm
Because money is just a tool, it's just the energy. So
yeah,
the energy itself is not evil, but what people are willing to do and sacrifice and compromise on for the obtaining of it
hmm
can cause that
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, and that's a great point because like you just pulled me back, right? And that goes back to becoming aware. When you're like when we're aware, like how you were just now, you were able to pull me back and say, "Hey, if we don't have to look at money in that way." You're right. We can have money to do this, but we just don't have to look at it like how it's always been looked at. And then you know what the next step is?
Spreading that idea
Spreading the
or
idea
the
and
awareness.
spreading the awareness. But then people start the more awareness you're spreading, more game planning is being done, whether you believe it or not.
Mm,
If you have a conversation with somebody, y'all share ideas, and they're good ideas, it's gonna linger.
mm.
So when you start being aware and you start sharing that awareness, more people is going to game plan on how they can get on how we can get that utopia. Because that's all I'm speaking into existence is utopia.
Right.
But
I only see us winning.
yeah,
Like
we
we either
already
win
won.
or we win.
No, we
We
already
already
won.
won. That's tenant.
Yeah, we already won. And the reason why I say that is because you have to look at the state of the world. The state of the world. It took for us to become aware that hey, some shit ain't right. Then One person becomes aware, they start sharing the fact that hey, something ain't right.
Something
More
right.
people become aware
Something going on, coach.
to the point it gets to the masses on a massive scale.
Right.
So now on a massive scale, that's too many ideas that you cannot have control of. And you don't know what each person is thinking or how they can get out the situation, right? So now you got millions and millions of people game. We are on the brink of a creative explosion. A creative explosion. Similar to like the Harlem Renaissance, but you got to think on a grander scale. Like this goes back to the idea aspect. And as well, I also think this is the reason why a lot of our generation and younger, Generation Z and younger, tend to have a lot of disagreements with older generations. Is one thing they did is they sped up our youthfulness. 18, get out the house. Get a job, get a house, get a wife or husband, get married, have kids, and then at that point you're an adult.
That's the
By the
American
ripe,
dream.
yeah, by the ripe age of what?
21.
Yeah, 21, 25, 28. But the reason why our generation is different and why this is going to be a greater creative explosion is because our creativity has been suppressed for so long. For so long. And then on top of that, we're aware of our creativity. On top of being able to openly share ideas and accept those ideas. So back then, like a lot of those ideas they would have to be cohesive. They would have to like those people believe they would have to work together. They would have to be aligned. But this is the great part. We're going to the age of just accepting everybody's ideas and just creating as is. Great example. I don't know if any of y'all have seen this, but you can look it up. Like just type in 3D room projector. People are starting to make or use projectors to create movable art in holographic art in their room on some Blade Runner 2049, right? People of our generation, Generation Z. And that's just a glimpse. Think about everybody talking about the solar punk society or aesthetic that we're chasing after. The amount of creative possibilities that we're about to realize that we have is going to be endless. And that is truly how a utopia is created. But also like how the Harlem Renaissance was created. The mixture of the intellectuals and the art and accepting them instead of having them be blocked off in their own different categories,
Right.
but realizing that they're unified. So when we realize that we can just unify every single idea and create anything, that's a creative explosion.
Let's talk about that unified. Like you said, unified. I think unity is the most important part because there's no renaissance without unified creativity. Like when you look at the first quote unquote renaissance back in the Medici area, you had Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, you had all these, you had Caravaggio, you had all these different artists and philosophers. Even with the philosophy, you had all of them unifying around creating the new world.
Mhm.
And with this generation, they kind of make you more of an individual creator in a sense. It's like you're creative, but you might not have community. You know, you might be a lone wolf. You might be just creating. The importance of this renaissance is going to be to bring everybody back together in a collective sense to create. Because we need the artists, we need the writers, we need the philosophers, we need the designers, we need the architects, we need everybody working together to
Mhm.
push this world into the next evolution.
Yeah.
Because after every renaissance, the world changed forever.
Mhm. It's evolution. That's it. And the thing is, and this is the hard part that a lot of people don't understand are going to have to come to grasp with is AI and technology is a part of creativity. It is. It's a part of our creativity.
Right.
Back then, maybe not, but now it is. It's a part of our creativity,
Right.
and
Things
we have to
change.
accept that instead of fight it. Instead of us deeming it as something bad, why do we not just deem it as something good and just use it that way
We can use it as leverage.
as leverage? If we're aware that it has been being used in a bad sense, why are we not using that broadened perspective to think of ways to use it in a good way, right? And it's the same thing with evolution or similar. It's like, that. But that's why our generation is different. Is that now we're coming to terms with it. The cyber decks, like you said, the 3D room, the 3D room projector, the solar pump. We're really starting to understand that we can just fuse. Mind you, a lot of people are using solar panels for their cyber decks because they're realizing they can charge their cyber decks. And to anybody that don't know what a cyber deck is, it is a man-made like computer. You just using anything that you find in your house, and they use solar panels just to power it instead of energy. It's crazy. It's crazy. That that that's like future like technology
Mm.
that we don't even understand that we're creating. But we don't understand it's future like technology because we're in the present.
Right.
But if we were in the past 20 years looking at this shit, we'll realize, oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
They want to get on that first. They
Yes.
want they want to use it instead of
Yes.
bashing it and stuff.
Exactly. And that goes back to living in the present. We don't understand that we're already in the future. We don't. We have had this misconstrued idea of what the future is supposed to look like.
Mm. Instead of creating what
The
we want it to
future,
look like.
what we want it to look like. Right.
So in the midst of all this digital renaissance, digital technology, cyber decks, things being able to push us forward creatively in the digital world, how important is the preservation of physical media like books, magazines, paintings, murals, graffiti, and stuff like that?
Because you have to have a balance. Like we said, yin and yang, you have to have a balance. If you go too much technology, you get that technocratic cyberpunk feel.
Right.
You go too much nature and stuff, now we're like going back a little bit.
Yeah.
So you have to have the balance. It's the same thing with digital media and physical media. Because why can't you appease to both masses?
Mhm.
Think about it. You know how beautiful society would look if we just had some creatively decorated posters promoting like central hubs of communion. And
Mhm.
when I say communion, I'm just talking about like community, like
Community. Yeah.
like how we kick it. Um, but that's the importance of physical media. Like even when you look at the Harlem Renaissance, yes, the newspaper articles. Nobody reading no newspaper articles. But I
Yeah.
bet you if people started creative newspaper articles or comic books and having them in stores, just to have them, you're
Mhm.
sharing ideas.
Mhm.
Like everything goes back to that. Now you're sharing ideas.
And I think that's like the cool, like originality aspect. Cause like for me, example, like it's funny because like in middle school, I was helping our uncle deliver newspapers, and I witnessed with my own eyes how newspapers aren't being delivered no more.
Mhm.
It's because the entertainment or the news is on the phone. But it's
Exactly.
like it would be so cool to pick up one of them old newspapers and really read through it because it had so much different information. It had almanacs, it had crossword puzzles, it had information, insights, directories of all this, basically a hub of information within a piece of paper or a
Yeah.
couple pieces of paper. But now with the streams of social media and things, everything's kind of scattered in a sense. It's not really unified how it used to be.
Yeah.
So it would be tough to see more newspapers or flyers or zines to help like just ground ourselves so we won't get too far in the technocratic, like you said.
Yeah. And a great example that I like using in this sense is we go back when we had physical copies of DVDs,
Mm.
right? But then you had the red box, or you had Blockbuster, then red box,
Netflix.
then Netflix, right? And the Netflix is really what put us in this loop, right? And the reason why I say that is because Now you have gave away your right to owning these DVDs. Little did you know at that time. Now
Mm,
you're paying a subscription. Now think about Amazon Prime. Now, realistically, and y'all don't, and a lot of people don't even see it. A lot of the good movies, that shit not on Netflix. You want a good movie, like one that is block, but you're not really finding it on Netflix.
that's true.
You'll find it on Amazon Prime. But
Mm,
guess what Amazon Prime does is different from Netflix. You have to have a subscription, right? But at the same time, that's only for like just the baseline.
you have to keep
You have to
paying
keep
for it.
paying for the movie. So so think about it. Like for
That's
really good
crazy
movies,
when you think about
yeah, for really good movies, you have to rent it. And it says, oh, you have up to 30 days to watch it.
it. You have to
But
send
once
it
you
back.
watch it, you have 2 days to finish it.
And
And
remember
then you have to rerun it again.
before that even happened, remember Amazon Prime, that was cool. But with the red box, you had 30 days maybe, and then
Hmm.
you have to put the DVD back into the box.
Yeah. Like they
So
slowly, gradually did that to us.
so they basically took what you're saying is they basically took ownership
Away from
from
us.
media because instead of having the VHS and the DVDs, now we had access to it, but we had to give it right back.
Yeah, yeah. It goes back to,
Damn.
and I know I did not come up with this, but it goes back to what somebody has stated is that, like, truly speaking, we have gave away our right because they have gave us this illusion that we own all of this, but in reality we own nothing. They gave us the illusion. Oh, now you can rent a movie anytime you want.
You still
Oh, oh,
renting.
oh, oh. Guess what? Guess what? If you really you now you can buy this movie, right? And you don't even have to put it in. So like think about it.
Or
You
you
don't
go
have
to
to.
the movies
Yeah.
and
So
then
what happens if Amazon Prime just click? You can't access it no more.
they already be recycling certain stuff. Like some stuff will be up there for a little bit and then it'll come off. So
Yeah.
when it goes off, you can't even re-rent it or have the chance to get back into it because it's not even on the catalog anymore.
Hmm.
Damn.
And that is why we have to understand that regardless of what it is, too much of something is bad.
All right.
Too much of anything is going to be bad, whether you believe it or not. Drink too much water, bitch, you gonna drown. You drink too much water, you gonna
You're
drown.
gonna drown with it.
Even if water is good for you, drink too much of it, you gonna drown.
You can be cooked.
Exactly. And like you said, we're starting to understand that. We're starting to understand the importance of the yin and the yang having the balance.
So quick, like it's cool because we've been talking about like money and creativity. Then and we know that the ownership from a monetary aspect already been taken from a lot of people.
Yeah.
So a way that we can start to incorporate this unified ownership theory is to also not just own property and things that's physically appreciating, but also having the physical media ownership.
Hmm.
Because ownership is ownership at the end of the day.
Hmm.
It don't matter what stream you use to become an owner,
Yep.
you can still own a piece of something. And that's kind of the most important aspect because we don't want to lose touch and lose grasp of the things that we once had.
Exactly. Exactly. And you make a great point because even now, what a lot of people understand, you're losing ownership to your car. And the reason why I say that is they're putting you, they were trying to guide us, routed it. But you can look at all the like the DoorDash, the Uber. You have like now you're slowly getting, and they're making it seem as though it's more beneficial for you,
Mm.
but they're taking that right away from you. Now you can't travel whenever you want, right? And that's why we said we have to understand that too much of something is bad. But the good part about all of this is that hmm, now that we're aware of this goes back to the main question: is what do we do? What do we do? And I think that's going to be one of the most interesting things that's about to happen over the next couple of months
Like what we do.
is yeah, because what people don't understand is this summer. Like a lot of people say, oh, the predictions is that it's gonna happen by 2030 or 2028 or 2040, blah 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 blah. But what you have to understand is like you have to pay attention to you have to pay attention to society, to to the world. It's too many people that and like you gotta think. Nothing is definite, of course. But it's too many people that's waking up like every single day. It's another person getting some information about some part of the world that needs to be fixed.
Mm,
Whether it have to do with the ocean, the climate, nature, architecture, art, the school system, the learning curriculum, the healthcare. Everybody is learning something.
mm,
It's too many talking points, too many ideas.
mm,
And just because I share an idea doesn't mean I'm gonna agree with it,
right.
right? But I'm gonna try to think of a way that this will be beneficial for me. And it's like we said, it's just a sharing of ideas.
Mm,
So it's ramping up too fast now to the point now everybody is starting to think of how they do it because nobody's fucking with the government, whether they believe it or not. Nobody's fucking with it. Nobody's fucking with the state of the world right now.
mm,
It's like it was a video. Somebody was talking about they was talking about like the price of gas and like what it will project to be in a couple years. And people were like that that's too long for gas to go down. It's gonna take like more than a year, more than 3 years, right? Before it goes back to what it used to be, maybe. Like it wasn't even a definite.
yeah.
So for a lot of people, you got to think now they're thinking of better ways of travel, more convenient ways of travel. Think about it. Haven't you seen a lot more electric bikes lately? Not pedaling, but you see a person driving on a bike, and you think that motherfucker on a motorcycle. And next thing you know, it's just like it's a little bike.
Pause.
Yeah, but and this is the difference. It's not one of them bikes that you will rent and you take it off. Although we do have some of these, a lot of people are starting to own their own.
Mm,
Because why would I rent one? I could just like if I have $200, I just buy one for $200
right.
instead of just keep renting one. Because this way I don't have to buy it. Because I'm aware that this is more convenient than that.
Mm,
So now more and more people are doing that, which is leading to more and more people thinking of other ways to travel.
yeah. It's causing it's funny because like the polarity or the paradox and all of this is even though it's a whole bunch of bullshit going on, it's making us be more proactive and solution oriented to step outside the fucking
Yeah,
box and do something to change things instead of just complaining about it.
yeah. Like this is my theory. As long as nobody took this fucking theory, but this is my theory that I came up with. Is that or not theory, but example is think about it of like ants in like one of those glass containers, like an ant farm, right? And they travel in those squiggly lines
Mhm.
left to right all the way down till they get to the bottom. And say at the bottom they're just storing food, right? But one of these ants is like, man, this takes too long. Why can't we just like dig straight down? Well, if we do that, then shit, it might collapse. All right, so maybe why is it going to collapse? Oh, it's too small. What are these walls? Then it goes to wait, are we in a box? How do we get out? That's the mindset that everybody is in right now.
Mm. How do we get outside the box?
How do we get outside the box?
Man, stuck in the box.
And that is the best part about it is just by thinking that it's a weird type of time shit because time is subjective. We're already out the box. Accept the fact that you're out the box already and live life how you want to live it. Create how you want to create.
And you gotta have that. And what you said, because I remember we talked about this before, you have to already have the mindset that you're outside the box. Even
Yeah.
if it looks like you're in it, you
Mhm.
have to already be thinking of outside the box because that's you taking the future and knowing that you already won.
Yeah.
So just applying that to the right now so you can
Yeah.
take the steps you need to make sure that you remain outside the box.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to touch on as well is because it's like what we said, it just goes back to just becoming aware, right?
Yeah.
And it's like what I said, since we're already thinking of how to get out the box in a positive sense for everybody, like not just for me and you, but for everybody, you got to think. of truthfully speaking of how fast we're going to evolve once this happens. Like that's a great topic I love thinking about or talking about. Is you got to think about how fast this evolution is going to happen. We think it's going to be, or we think it's going to be not quick, but
We
like
think it's gonna be
long.
linear,
Yeah, we think it's going to be
like
linear,
a
but it's not.
gradual process. No, this shit speeding up.
Yes, think of like it's like we said. Think about it. Since the beginning of January, or maybe a little a year ago, or a year ago, after that, before that, that a lot of people they weren't thinking about like cybernetics and not saying not solar punk because I know solar punk was a thing, but like
Even like,
thinking about creating that
yeah,
type of stuff.
even with
Like,
AI.
yeah. So now that we're in this point in time where now it's being spreaded all over because TikTok is one of the main hubs where these ideas is being shared. You still have Instagram and Facebook, but
It's not the same
yeah,
type
it's
of
not the
media.
same. And if you just snip the bud on TikTok, you're gonna have an uproar of a whole bunch of people that already are not fucking with you. So that's you can't do that, right? You're running out of options.
Mm.
Project Looking Glass, maybe? Do I know? I don't know. But you're running out of options. So you have to have let TikTok be TikTok. You just gotta try to throw as much propaganda out as you can. But if people are becoming aware of the propaganda, are they being propagandized
Mm.
anymore?
It's like it's like the powers that be are trying to control something that they can't control. Like they're trying to control the inevitable.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. And the more, and the one thing I notice about even with life, like we talking about the subconscious mind, the more you try to control your life and control every little single thing, the worse it get.
Exactly.
You just have to let shit evolve and just like kind of let shit be.
Mm.
You know, and that's one thing I've been learning too, like trying to control or be a perfectionist about everything. The best way to flow is to flow.
Yes,
Like you
that's
can't
it.
keep going against the current. Like let's see where the current takes us and
Mhm.
just let that shit happen gradually.
Yeah, and you made a great point because like what he said, let's see where the current takes us.
Right. Because
Yeah.
it might actually even help the system itself
Yeah. Because
evolve into a better system.
yeah, it's just like you think about it like this. And you continuously swim against a current, you're gonna get
Mm,
tired at some point.
that's facts.
And what happens after you get tired? Ultimately, you're gonna drown.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have no energy to keep staying afloat, especially in the middle of the ocean.
You gonna damn hit a rock or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
But if you just float with the tide and save your energy and just float with the current, not the tide, the current,
Mm,
ultimately you're gonna end up somewhere. You're not just gonna like the ocean you're not just gonna float around in a fucking or in a circle with a current.
but
Like that's not gonna happen. But if you allow it to just take and save your energy and just float, ultimately you're gonna end up somewhere that you like been wanting to go. And that's the beautiful part about this. Is because we don't even have like our perspective isn't even open or aware yet that that's how we're supposed to live, right? So it's like this. Great example. And a lot of people won't be able to catch this, but this is a great example. Me and you want a utopia, right? It started with thought. The thought became the game plan. Then you created street economics, which is a great, great community, y'all. Great community. A bunch of free thinkers, philosophers, and creators. Creative. Let me correct myself. And it starts with that because just by him wanting to do that, he created a community, right? And that community itself was a hub of more people who thought like him, who are sharing ideas of how they can change the world. Then you have conversations like this, which reaches more and more people who also start game planning on how they can have a utopia. And it's like what we said, it spreads like wildfire.
mm,
A lot of people don't understand because Instagram and social media has construed our minds. A lot of people don't understand how much a lot 200 people is. Oh wow, 200 likes, man. I used to get 1,056. Do you understand how many 200 people is?
Like
Think of
you know what 200 people in one room could do?
yes, yeah, 200 what 200 people in one room could do, motherfucker. They can't fit in the room in the first place,
All right.
and that's
That's
the
the
part.
point.
That's the part. It's too many people. So 200 plus people in a community sharing ideas, it's multiplying like that because those people know people. Believe it or not, they might slip up, say something to their parents. They might try to talk to their little brother, their little sister, their
Mm.
cousin. And then like that cousin is or that little brother or that sister. Now they're sharing that shit. Literally. So, and that's how, like we said, that's how we're already in the utopia. We're already creating it just by this type of conversation. And that's the beauty of it. And we just have to allow ourselves to just do, to just flow and just enjoy life and create.
And I think one thing we also have to do is encourage people that's creating,
Yes, stop.
because that's one of the like main gatekeepers. Like I look at it as like three stages, right? As a creative, maybe not even three stages, but it's a couple stages, right? First, they laugh, like they'll laugh at your creativity, like, oh, what are you doing? Like make jokes and stuff. And then the second part is basically you're creating great things, but it's being overlooked in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
And as a creative, you have to just keep going, knowing that what you're creating is still impactful. Somebody's going to like it. And that's the
exactly.
thing about creativity. Like it's all subjective. Everybody's not going to like your idea, your writing, your painting, and what you do. But it's how 8 billion people in the world and climbing. Somebody out of 8 billion is going to like that. Like
Yeah.
that's just probability.
Hmm.
So the fact that as a creative, you have to keep pushing and keep creating, knowing that one little tiny seed might become a mountain if you keep doing it. But if you stop as a creative and you don't believe in yourself, then your potential to change the world or change how things are is basically eliminated.
Yeah,
But when we encouraging each other as creatives, we're able to get more basically just positive reinforcement to keep creating. And that's how we build upon ideas. Because
exactly.
I'm encouraging you, you encouraging me. So it's like, all right, we can keep going. So imagine what happens when we get them 200 people or more and we all encouraging these different creators to keep creating and stuff like that. They're going to take that same mindset and multiply it to their 200 people that they know. And then that 200 is going to turn to another 200. And then next thing you know, you done changed 10% of the human populace through spreading that creativity.